like you should, yeah.
Hi guys, Ben here from Velocity Personal Training Academy, and today we're going to run through 5 tips for hypertrophy. So the first tip that we're going to have a look at is logbooking your sessions. Now, what I mean by logbooking your sessions is constantly writing down what exercises that you're doing, how many reps that you're doing on them, and also what weight that you did as well, because on a weekly basis and on a session basis you want to ensure that you're constantly having a linear progression, so you're always either increasing one variable at a time. So it could be weight, it could be doing an extra rep or something like that. There's a reason why you go into the gym and somebody looks the exact same for the past 5 years, because they're not applying the progressive overload variable to their training. Which brings me on to tip number 2, which is applying progressive overload to your training. Now, what progressive overload is where you're looking to force an adaptation to your body. So on a weekly basis, you're either looking to improve by a rep or go up in 0.25 kilograms or so on. Because let's say, for example, if you go up 0.25 kilograms each week, then for 6 months you've increased by a certain number of kilos over your training. So progressive overload, what it does, it forces that adaptation to your body. Now what you'll find is if you look to apply this progressive overload approach to your training, when you first start out you will start to accrue quite a lot of strength gains. Now this is all just down to quite a hard improvement in your neural adaptation, whereas when you then start to get further and further into your training, progression will start to slow down. Now this is where you are then looking to really try and force the adaptation to your body and really start to grind it out, and this is where you're actually then going to start to build up quite a lot of muscle tissue within this period of time if you can really look to drag it out. Tip number 3 is exercise selection. So what this means is stop doing this.
Are you ready for this?
And start doing more of this. Now the reasoning for this is when you are only moving in one joint for the more isolation work, or fluff work as what other people call it, basically you're only recruiting a certain number of muscle fibres. If you're doing bicep curls, we all know bicep curls are a lot easier than doing a heavy barbell row or a deadlift, which are usually the more exercises that people would tend to miss out in their training programs. If you look to get progressively stronger at the harder stuff, that will mean that you are then going to force your body into more of an adaptation. So tip number 4, have a look at your training split. Now if you usually do a 5 working day training split, such as like chest on a Monday, shoulders on a Tuesday, and so on all the way up until arms on a Friday, you may want to have a look at changing and altering this up a little bit. Don't turn your nose up at upper-lower split or a push-pull leg split. Just because you're not giving one designated day to a body part doesn't mean that it's then all of a sudden going to stop making gains. Actually, it could actually be the other thing, could be the other reason for it. This is because the more times that you train a muscle group, the more opportunities you're giving it to grow. So let's say, for example, if you only train a muscle 1 time a week, but then you go to train it 2 times a week, all of a sudden you're not giving it 52 chances to grow in a year. You're giving it 104 chances to grow in a year. And then tip number 5, our final one, is recovery. So it's just as important outside of the gym, the things that you do outside of the gym compared to the things that you actually do inside of the gym. The old cliche kind of goes that you don't grow in the gym. Now this is where you need to have a look at 3 variables, and this is: are you sleeping? Are you getting good adequate sleep on a night? Are you eating? So you're giving yourself the more opportunities to kind of take in the nutrients that are needed in order to stimulate that muscle growth. And also, are you keeping well hydrated? So these things you need to take into account and ensure that you are not giving yourself, you are giving yourselves the full opportunities to grow and also progress in the gym.